Andrew Morrison here, also known as Andrew the Astrologer. Welcome to my channel. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed and turn on all notifications so you never miss a brand new video here on my astrology YouTube channel. Now, before we get into today's main content discussing Jupiter's transit into Earth-based sign of Taurus, I just want to quickly mention that I do have a few spots and spaces available if you are really needing an astrological chart reading and consultation. The best way to schedule that reading with me is to send me an email, which my direct email, my professional email, is always posted down below in the description down there. Now, also found down in the description down below as well is a link to my free Facebook group community. I've had that group for several years now, about 7 or 8 years now. And I like to mention this as well in some of my videos, is that because I've been doing astrology professionally for a while now, what's great about my Facebook group is you can actually go back many years and see how spot on so many of my predictions and my insights and my astrological forecasts have been. I don't have time, obviously, in today's video to cover every nitty-gritty detail in all of my predictions that have came true. But I do always like to mention this. And what's also great is, it's a great way to just also connect with me outside of YouTube land. And the link to my free Facebook group is posted in the description down below. So let's just dive right into things. So full transparency is that I'm not a Western-based astrologer. So with that said, I actually practice Eastern-based astrology. And so in today's video, I wanted to mention this as a disclaimer because today's video, I'm focusing on Jupiter's transit moving into the second main constellation in Taurus. I did cover the first constellation with Jupiter's transit going through the first constellation, but today's video is focusing on the second constellation. And that transit will occur and happen around June 13th to August 21st of this year. But before we get into all of that, just a quick overview and a general overview of what to expect with Jupiter's transit in this Earth-based sign of Taurus. So Taurus has a lot to do with consumption and indulgence in foods, drinks, beverages, sweets, and desserts. It's ruled by Venus, and Venus is a very soft, very feminine planet, and a lot of people don't know this. A lot of astrologers don't touch base on this, but Venus is actually deeply connected to especially more sugary foods, sweets and desserts, sometimes alcohol and wine. Taurus is very refined. It likes things very fancy. And again, Taurus is deeply connected to food, which I will get into in a second here. So because Taurus has this strong connection and association to consumption and what goes into our mouth, unfortunately, I do expect many people all around the world will experience some sort of weight gain, possibly even water retention during this transit for Jupiter in the Earth-based sign of Taurus. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, Taurus is also deeply connected to money, finance, and wealth. It has a lot to do with the different ways that we create a livelihood for ourselves, whether we work as an entrepreneur, we work self-employed, or we work as an employee working for someone else. It has a lot to do with the ways that we earn a living, the ways that we bring in income, and the ways that we are able to afford life. So with all that said, I do feel like during Jupiter's transit, which will take place this week, actually, May of this year, and then it will span until around the middle of May of next year, 2025. During Jupiter's transit in Taurus, many people's goals and aspirations will definitely be focused a lot on adding more structure, stability, and sustainability, especially in more practical ways, and definitely pertaining to money and finance and income. So furthermore, people will definitely be focused on their personal financial situations. And as a result, just because obviously inflation has been so out of control and it's been a hot topic recently in the last few years, post the health crisis and everything, many people will be searching for different ways to build and create more wealth and income, whether this is adding some sort of side job, side hustle, side business, finding different ways to add more hours at their current jobs, so on and so on. Now, Jupiter's transit in Taurus will also increase people's awareness, because Jupiter is the planet of awareness and higher degrees of consciousness. Jupiter's transit in Taurus will elevate people's awareness and understanding about, also going back to food, awareness about their eating and nutritional habits. So therefore, this will really wake people up and shake people up to make a lot of important and significant changes to their lifestyle habits, and this includes their diets. So like I said at the beginning of this video, Jupiter's transit in the second constellation will be taking place approximately around June 13th of this year, all the way till August 21st of 2024 this year. So that's almost about 2 months. And so during this constellation, with Jupiter's movement throughout this constellation has a lot to do with nourishment, foundation, food, agriculture, and money and wealth. This constellation actually is one of the most auspicious and one of the most positive constellations that we have in the system of astrology that I work with and that I practice. So there's a lot of good things that will come out of this transit for Jupiter. Just because Taurus has a lot to do with food, and especially this constellation specifically, Jupiter will definitely increase and elevate the greater need towards improving the current landscape of the food industries, restaurant and fast food industries as well as farming, the farming industry and agriculture and all of that. Jupiter does deal a lot to do with big and transformational changes. And Jupiter also does pertain to law, which a lot of other astrologers don't touch base on. So therefore, I do expect that there will be many big and radical, significant changes, and even possibly legal changes pertaining to all of these different fields and all these different industries that I just touched base on. Now, on a more holistic level, I do feel like this will definitely really motivate people all around the world, but especially in Western-based societies, to feel more called to start becoming more food conscious and learning more about the different foods and beverages that they are consuming. You know, reading the labels, reading the ingredients, things of that sort, things of that nature. So therefore, I do expect that many people will feel the strong urge and the strong desire to start not just being more mindful about the foods that they are ingesting, but therefore actually taking action and buying more local, whether this includes buying from local farmers in the area where they live in, or shopping at different natural food co-ops, shopping at Whole Foods, even though it's also considered whole paycheck. Just a little joke there. And not only that, just I feel like people are becoming more mindful about truly and honestly where their food is actually coming from. Becoming a lot more mindful about all of that. So the topic of farming and agriculture has been a very hot political topic in recent years, especially in the United States where I'm from. And so with Jupiter's transit in Taurus, all of these political issues surrounding agriculture and farming, especially in the United States, this will highlight, Jupiter's transit will highlight these issues facing so many farmers, as well as workers in the food industries and everything like that. So the constellation in which Jupiter will be transiting from June 13th to August 21st of this year, 2024, like I mentioned, is a very auspicious and positive constellation. Like I mentioned, it's one of the most positive constellations in astrology, the system that I practice and I work with. So I do expect on that note that many people will be reaping many positive and jovial results during this transit, during that time frame that I mentioned several times in this video. This constellation, furthermore, has a lot to do with not just the other things that I mentioned earlier with food and agriculture and farming, but this constellation has a lot to do with creative flow and creative growth. More so creative energy that is more reflective in nature. And this constellation also has a lot to do with building a strong financial foundation that is sustainable in the long term. So therefore, I do feel like during these weeks and during the months with Jupiter's transit in this constellation, many people will start to wake up to their own truth and about their own financial situations, and therefore this energy will really cause people to search for more creative ways to build more income and wealth. Creative ways could be, starting an online business, or, creativity is really a beast of its own. There's so much to work with. But again, this constellation specifically has a lot to do with creative energy that is more reflective and pensive. There's a reflective and pensive energy connected to this constellation. So even though with Jupiter's transit in Taurus, Jupiter doesn't feel so comfortable in Earth-based signs. So even though I do expect that there is this strong focus towards building and boosting, strengthening, fixing, repairing the economy and inflation, even though I do expect that will definitely be a major theme going on, that's not to say on the flip side of things, I do expect that there will be some turbulence along the way with the economy. Because like I mentioned, Jupiter doesn't feel so comfortable in Earth-based signs. So therefore, I do expect that there will be some ups and downs in the economy and economic affairs and matters. So that's something to keep in mind. We have to remember that boosting and fixing, repairing the economy, nothing ever happens overnight. It's going to take several months, and I really want to emphasize that point. So this is not an overnight situation where everything will be wine and roses with the economy and inflation, which obviously is, a huge problem facing so many people, not just in the United States or in Western-based countries and societies, but really all around the world. So again, I really want to emphasize this point that this is going to be a slow-moving process, and that's just how astrology works. It's all about timing, and things take time. So again, I want to stress the point that this will be a long process in fixing the economy, but this is a really good thing actually with Jupiter's transit, with it shifting and moving into Taurus. And so I just wanted to mention that just to paint some clear expectations for all of my viewers tuning into today's video on what to anticipate. Now, as I mentioned, that this constellation has a strong connection to creativity and more so creative energy that is more reflective in nature. During these weeks and months with Jupiter's transit in this constellation, this is really a perfect optimal time to start any new creative projects and endeavors. Like I mentioned, creativity is really a beast of its own, and so therefore starting new creative endeavors or creative projects, this can include, but it's certainly not limited to, taking dance classes for their first time, learning photography, enhancing your filming skills, or starting to learn how to film different videos, learning how to edit videos. This could also include, working on your cooking skills and enhancing your cooking skills. So I just wanted to list off a few examples here. Furthermore, Jupiter will really call on humanity during this time frame from June to the third week in August. It will call on humanity to learn and strengthen more creative abilities and capabilities. So all in all, pay attention and spend more time during this time frame focusing on what type of seeds you would want to plant, whether it's pertaining to creative energy, creative projects, planting the seeds to boost your financial situations, boost your bank accounts, whatever it is. Taurus and this constellation specifically has a lot to do with foundation. And that's a whole different video for another day, but there's a lot to talk about that. So again, it's all about planting those seeds on what you would like to, bring forward into your life and what you would like to see blossom into your individual reality. So it's all about planting those seeds to blossom new chapters, new beginnings into your individual lives, and particularly your practical goals and your dreams. So all in all, this will be a very productive and very expansive time, both on a global spectrum as well as on an individual level for so many people all around the globe. And there's definitely the strong focus to wrap it all up. There's a strong focus on the economy and, collaborating and figuring out how to not just combat inflation and fix the economy, but also there's a strong focus on focusing on strengthening different sectors and industries to help build and keep the economy nourished and going for the long term, that is. So I hope you found today's video very informative and insightful, and the best way to support my channel is to simply like my video and to subscribe. And again, I do have a few spots and spaces available if you are really needing an astrological chart reading. So the best way to schedule that reading is to send me an email, which is always posted down in the description down below. Thank you again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video to come.